This week on Barely Homesteading, our garden for 2025. So this week we want to talk about our garden for this year. And first thing that we need to do is obviously prep the garden. And so we got to turn everything over and get the initial weeding done. So this year we had a new tool that we tried out when turning over the garden. It's this tool right here. It's called a Broadfork, and it's got the two handles, and it's got very substantial steel tines on it that you can use to turn the soil over. And it worked really, really well, particularly in areas that that we hadn't gone through before, hadn't turned over, had a lot of roots, a lot of weeds in there. We're able to turn that soil over fairly easily with this, whereas with a shovel or the pitchfork, it definitely would have taken a lot more time.
And this doesn't necessarily have to, you can use it to turn the soil over, but it's really good at lifting and aerating the soil. And so as we get our soil in a better shape in a few years, when we add more compost and just really get it nice and rich and full of loam, then all you have to do is just pop that in and just kind of lift, and it just aerates the soil for you, and you won't have to turn it all the way over at that point.
Now, a couple of things on this. Since these do have substantial tines on them, we were able to do quite a bit. In fact, I was able to get sizable rocks lifted up out of the soil with just this, which was super handy. One drawback, at least with this one that we have, at least a drawback to me, is the handle is kind of loose in here. And I would have preferred it to be stiffer, personally. And so we may go in and put some bushings in here or something to stiffen that up. But overall, I was very happy with this. We were able to turn over the entire garden this year, which is the first time that we've been able to turn over the entire garden. And part of that was this new Broadfork. It really sped the process up. Now, another reason we're able to turn over the entire garden this year is because we have turned over most of it previously and gotten a lot of the weeds out prior. But this definitely was a big help.
I liked it enough. I'm already planning on purchasing another one for next year. And we did have a lot of weeds. Apparently our winter was very good for weeds. We had a lot of weeds coming out, and this helped because we could just go and we could kind of lift the soil, which made it really easy to pull the weeds and get all the roots out.
Yep.
We wanted to do a little tour of the garden this year, talk about things that we are changing up for 2025. This is the area where we planted corn. We also have squash here and some dry beans in the Three Sisters methods that the Native Americans used to use. That's worked before in the past. I'm hoping for an even better this year because the soil is a little bit better. Compost and nutrients in our soil is still our biggest drawback in this garden. And as you can see, this area last year, this area has not been used before. We had the rabbits over there, so it's got some compost in it, but we hadn't turned it up, we hadn't got all the roots out, and this is really the first year we've planted there, so you can see that the plants right now are not growing quite as well because it just hasn't been turned over, maintained, and all the roots pulled out. Also, you can see we did, in our rows, I did a section here of store-bought corn, and on the far side, this section in the middle is all corn that we harvested and saved the seeds from harvested corn ourselves. As you can see, it's not growing quite as well as the store-bought corn, but we're hoping in the future to be able to, get our own seeds, harvest our own seeds, and use our own seeds to grow the corn. Not quite as good as the store-bought ones, but we'll get there. Over here we have our tomatoes. Last year, our tomato crop was completely decimated by birds. The birds ate everything almost. We got next to no tomatoes. On reading up a little bit, we did a few things. We put some of those wooden owls and hawks on the fence to see if that will scare some of the birds away. Our dogs are a little older. We're hoping that the dogs will chase the birds away, but usually the birds just like to fly inside and taunt our dogs. One thing we read is if you put Christmas balls up on the tomato cages and on the tomatoes, that the birds will come and peck them thinking they are fruit, and by the time your fruit actually ripens, they will have been the birds will have been trained that these are not fruit, that they're hard and inedible. Will it work? We don't know, but we're giving it a try, and we'll let you know at the end of the season if we get any tomatoes. I really hope we do because we're almost out of salsa. We also have our broccoli, some peppers. These are some volunteer squash that apparently we had a broken squash that left some seeds here last year and they're growing. And these are our green beans. You can see there's a little section there where the green beans aren't growing very well. We had problems with this section last year, and I'm guessing that there's some bigger rocks down there that are just making it so that they are not growing well. We did get a few rocks out this year, but apparently we missed some. Our peas are coming on really well. We hope to have some of those to harvest within the next week or two. We still have not finished our berry patch, so most of our berries, our strawberries and our raspberries, are still in buckets. But as you can see, they are doing really, really well, and some of them are even ripe and ready to eat, which makes me very happy. We still have our ginormous rock in the hole that we have not been able to get out yet. And so we use the hole to store extra tires for our potato tire towers. This area, we've never planted a whole lot here, and the things that we have planted did not do well, including our zucchini. It's hard to mess up zucchini, but it didn't want to grow here. So we put our rabbits in this area to try to get some compost in and hopefully help us break down the clay in the soil to get it better for growing. We have less weeds this year than we have had in any of the previous years, but you can still see we've got weeds on the pathway that we need to have the kids come work on.
We also have our volunteer potatoes.
We also have volunteer potatoes from the very first year we planted. Apparently every year we end up leaving a small potato or two, and they just keep coming back, and I'll take them. Our lettuce is coming along nicely. That got planted very late for lettuce as it's a cold crop, but the planting season just was hard to get into this year. We had a lot of unusual weather when we went from too cold to too hot too fast. Over here we have carrots, which are still coming in, and we'll see how they do. So we're hoping for a lot of good things from the garden this year. As I said, this is the first year that we've been able to turn over pretty much the entire garden. So we're using all of our space. Weeds are way down, and so we're just really hoping for a good harvest this year. So much so that I'm planning on trying to keep track of what we harvest so we can let you know at the end of the season how we're doing. We've actually already harvested our garlic because it was already ready to do. It's just been really hot this summer. And so,
yeah, we're doing really well, and as I said, we'll let you know how the harvest was, assuming that we can keep everything watered and keep the birds and the bugs away. So with that, this is Lumberjack and Mama Bear from Bearly Homesteading saying use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Bye.